Black Dog After Dark is recorded in a video store by people who have been drinking. We swear a lot, and there's spoilers. It's not safe for work, unless you work in a video store and have also been drinking.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
I know that, Mr. Man. They also call them cereals. I'm not stupid, you know.
The story is ludicrous. You can imagine where it goes from here.
Fixes the cable.
It lives 50 feet beneath the streets. It's 36 feet long. It weighs over 2,000 pounds. And it's about to break out.
You said it was dark. Now, perhaps you're mistaken. You kept coming up with some garbage about alligators in the sewers.
Alligators in the sewers?
Once it escaped, there was no way to stop it. It could be anywhere, ready to attack at any moment. At first, no one believed it. Now, no one will forget it. Alligator.
Get a beer into me so I have some liquid mouth lubricant.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Liquid mouth lubricant.
Yeah.
I found twice at charity stores.
I'm going to probably need one more. Might as well grab me another one before we start. I'll have
me too.
IPA.
I'll take another Lions. My turn.
It is After Dark. This is Black Dog Video in sunny Vancouver.
It's after dark, dude. It's not sunny.
Well, it was kind of sunny earlier. Anyways,
yeah. Vancouver,
that makes this Vancouver. The Black Dog Video After Dark podcast.
Yes.
Or Black Dog After Dark, or BDAD for short.
Bye-bye,
I am comedian and flick jockey Dylan Reimer. To my left is...
I'm Alex Chisholm, Black Dog employee, and I also program the Rio Theater, just down the street.
Yes, down the street. I'm Darren Gay. I own this decrepit establishment. Tonight's film is the 1980 creature feature Alligator, featuring an alligator.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, they're making a movie about us.
I know.
Yeah.
Kevin from the Lobby video store in Edmonton.
Did you tell him about the podcast?
I did.
Oh, great. Well,
yeah.
Hello. Did you tell him what movie it was that we're doing?
I did.
Great. So he'll probably be listening.
I hope so.
Hello, Edmonton.
Hello, Kevin.
The Oilers
nice to meet you. Yeah, he knows that.
White Ave is great, and the rest of the town, it's a town.
I never want to go to Edmonton.
It's not bad.
No offense, Edmonton, but I never want to visit you. I don't want to be in you, Edmonton.
Go to White Ave. Avoid the mall, and you'll have a really good time. Anyways, this movie is directed by Louis Teague, who did Cat's Eye.
Yep, Cat's Eye and
Cujo,
and the sequel to Romancing the Stone,
Jewel of the Nile.
Yeah.
But he's done a lot of animal-related movies, which is my point.
Right.
Cujo and Cat's Eye.
Right. Yes. A
cat and a dog and an alligator
and an eye. Actually, if you look at the opening shot, they have it's the close up on the like an alligator's eye.
Yes.
You can see the reflection of the crew in the alligator's eye.
Can you now?
And that's the same with the eye and Cat's Eye.
Oh,
Cat's Eye, you can see the crew too.
Maybe it's a Louis Teague thing.
Yeah,
he likes to show off his crew in the eyes of animals. I don't know.
Alligator. This is a mixed bag. Written by John Sayles.
Yeah, who also wrote Piranha before this, and The Howling, which I did not know. Well, let's talk about. Has anybody seen Alligator before?
I have not, but is your pick, so you start.
Well, growing up, my favorite genre of film was like the monster movies, like the animals attacking humans movies. Like I loved anything, like starting with like Them way back in the day, the giant ant movie. Anything with I
love Them.
Yeah,
Day of the Animals is a favorite.
Day of the Animals, Grizzly, Jaws, The Birds. I just love all those kind of nature gone awry. And so I saw this in the 80s. I don't remember when I saw it, but I remember watching it on VHS when the VHS players and stuff came out, and I thought it was so awesome. It was right up my alley.
Right up your alligator.
Right up Alex, bringing the gold. It's been at least 25, almost 30 years since I've seen it.
Huh?
Yeah.
I saw it once again, as I've said on this podcast a number of times. Channel 20.
Right, you're in your Channel 20.
Channel 20 or KVUS TV 12 would show these movies, and I saw it on, I think, a Sunday afternoon. I didn't see the whole thing.
It's a good Sunday afternoon movie.
I just saw an alligator attacking a wedding. I think I was just done with movies of the Jaws ilk where it's nature attacks man.
There was a lot of those movies after Jaws came out. It
Quite
was
a
like
few.
any animal they could think of, like you know, like bears,
They even
and
had
badgers, and worms,
Yeah.
like slugs.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes. They had one called Skeeter.
Yeah. I can't think of an animal that they didn't do. Horses, was there a horse? Like an angry horse movie?
Does Equus count? How about you, Alex? What did you have you seen?
No, I'm aware of this movie. I've seen the cover in video stores for years, and in our video store. But I had never seen it before.
Actually, it's funny because looking at the movie box, the alligator on the movie box looks better than the one that's in the movie.
It does.
It does.
Well, there's so many movies like that. Like a movie I'm especially fond of is made in Nova Scotia called DEFCON 4.
Oh, right. That's made in Nova Scotia?
It is. It was filmed in the Sackville landfill, and it was the Donovan brothers who went on to found Salter Street Films, and they're actually Oscar-winning producers. They produced Bowling for Columbine, but
Columbine.
It's his Nova Scotian accent where up is down. So the movie starts.
Yes, I have a sort of a theme running through my notes here, and I have so many points that start with "idiot does this." Because there's
this podcast?
Yeah. No, there's so many idiots in this movie. So it starts like in an alligator farm, and I guess it's Florida.
Yeah,
weird roadside attraction.
Yeah,
touristy.
I've been to those things before, and they're fucking horrible. You know, I've been to like an alligator farm in Vietnam, which was the most horrible things I've ever seen.
Ugh.
Yeah, never go to an alligator farm in Vietnam.
That's not really the worst thing to see in Vietnam, though.
The movie opens in like an alligator, not a farm, but it's like an alligator circus. What are those things called? And
roadside attraction.
A roadside attraction, and so the kids are watching this dude try to, I don't know what he's doing. He's walking.
It's not just the kid. It's a show. It's like if you go to the aquarium and they have the dolphin show, but it's like the alligator show.
But the guy doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't even know what he's supposed to be doing.
He's like drunk.
The guy even should not even be in there. There's alligators just laying around, and he gets.
But they call it alligator wrestling.
Which he doesn't actually wrestle, and then he gets his leg caught in a log, and he falls down. And the alligators, as soon as he falls down, they just dive in and start.
It's like they know what's going to happen.
Yeah, they're just waiting, which is pretty awesome.
He's very very casual around these.
Idiot with a mustache gets attacked, and the crowd doesn't think it's real until the blood starts gushing. But the little girl, she goes, "No, that's real." And
the one woman's like, "I can do without the fake blood."
But the little girl knows her alligators and stuff, so she knows she's just into that kind of thing. As one is when you're that age.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Is she the doctor later on?
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I thought.
After watching a man get mauled by a...
Let's buy one for our daughter.
Yeah, let's buy one of these.
And then, what do you do when it gets big? Oh, I'll just give it away. I'll give it to the zoo. Like, no, these things grow huge.
They do.
Yeah. Let me tell you a little story.
Oh.
When I was in... I
smell some editing on the horizon.
I went to Barbados with my family when I was, I think I was 10 or 12 years old. And my parents thought it was okay if my brother and I smuggled back an iguana. So we put it in our carry-on. We put it in our carry-on, our carry-on luggage, and we put a whole bunch of stuff. And I had like a one of those puffer fish that you buy that they've blown up, so all the spikes are sticking out.
Yeah.
And put it on top. And then the security guy was reaching the bag, and he grabs the thing, and he's like, "Ah!" And he didn't search the bag. So we actually smuggled an iguana all the way from Barbados to Ontario.
With drugs inside it?
It was our drug mule iguana.
Yeah, drug guana.
Yeah, we put a bunch of heroin bags that made it swallow them. But we got home, and then it lived in our house for 6 months, and then it got huge. It started shitting all over the place.
Oh.
And so we didn't flush down the toilet because it was too big.
Yeah.
But
so you chopped it up and flushed down the toilet.
No, we ate it.
Oh.
No, we
and then you flushed it.
We ended up giving it to a pet store.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they took it?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was a shady pet store, like the one in this movie.
It was a dodgy pet store.
Dodgy pet store in Oshawa, Ontario.
Wow. What was it called? What was the name of your Iggy? Was it Iggy?
I don't remember if we had a name.
Oh.
Maybe an Iggy, maybe like Larry. I don't know. Maybe it was Ramon.
There's common sightings here in BC. You see it on the news once in a while, like on, the mountain out by SFU and stuff like that, where there's like exotic snakes that should not be there because people get sick of their pythons or whatever they own and let them loose.
Throw them off the cliffs.
Sick of a python. But
how do you get sick of a python?
But my point is, my parents thought it was okay for us to smuggle an iguana from a different country on an airplane
inside a pufferfish.
Well, no, it wasn't in the pufferfish. It was the pufferfish on the top of the bag.
Yes.
It was
in your rectum. That's the worst part.
Oh my God.
It almost killed him.
Yeah. Or was he stuffed in the condom and you swallowed it? I can't remember that part of the story.
And the pufferfish.
It's a little hazy, all the details.
Being an iguana mule, it's not. The worst would be a mule, though. Trying to smuggle a mule.
Yeah.
Trying to smuggle
Imagine
yourself
a
inside
mule
a
in
mule.
your ass.
Yeah, no, it was weird. But I'm just saying, like, the parents thought it was okay to buy the little girl an alligator to take home.
Yes.
Well, wasn't the... Okay, but this is where it gets weird. Okay, first of all, just want to say, shout out to Jimmy Brockett, who was the guy who got attacked by the alligator.
Yeah, good job, Jimmy Brockett.
Because he gets mauled by a fucking alligator, and he still gets a round of applause.
Yeah.
When they're walking him away, it's like, let's hear it for Jimmy Brockett.
As they carry him off, and his legs bleeding.
He's in a stretcher. He's never going to walk again.
Yeah.
And also a shout out to the costume designer, because some of those shirts were incredible.
This is 1980.
Did you notice, and Florida, at a fucking alligator
wrestling match.
Wrestling, whatever.
Thunderdome.
Right, so they buy a fucking alligator and they go home, and then she has it for like a day before some guy comes in and gets really angry.
Is he drunk? Is he angry?
Is it the dad?
I assume it's the dad. This
well,
is
then why
some
is he
stranger.
so surprised by this fucking alligator? Oh, she's talking to Ramon,
Mhm.
and she's saying, I don't want to bury you in a pet cemetery, or whatever she's saying to Ramon.
Foreshadowing.
And then the dad comes in and just grabs the alligator when she's at school.
Yeah.
And is like, she's like, what are we going to tell our the mom's like, what are we going to tell our daughter? And he says, you tell her we found it dead, just like the hamster.
Yeah. So they just kill every pet she brings home.
Well, so who bought her the fucking
He did.
lizard?
They did. I don't understand.
Well, then why is he so mad about it all of a sudden?
I don't know if he was drunk in the afternoon. He's day drunk. He comes home. He's mad at the alligator for maybe usurping the love of his daughter. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no explanation why he grabbed it and then flushed it down the toilet. And there's that scene as the toilet was spinning and the alligator spinning it, and he's got this weird smile on his face.
Yeah, he makes a joke about a burial at sea.
Yeah.
And we get into flusho-vision.
Yeah, and then you follow the alligator as it washes down the sewer system and then plonks into where it would grow up.
Is this where the urban legend comes from about flushing an alligator?
Well,
no, it was based on
this
the
movie
urban
came
legend.
from the urban legend.
Oh.
Yeah.
Albino blind alligators in the sewers.
It was
That's
new-
what
I
it
heard it was New
I haven't
York.
heard that part.
Maybe that's where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing comes from. Is alligators in the sewers of New York.
Yeah, maybe. But they're turtles.
So we got flusho-vision, and then 12 years later.
Yeah.
It's this tiny little fucking lizard. It's like the size of a...
Well, it's a small alligator, but they get bigger.
Am I supposed to believe this thing ate stuff and
Well,
lived?
in reality, that it would have died within a day or two.
Yeah, there's no minnows to eat.
No, but the thing is, it's cold-blooded. It needs sunlight to keep warm.
Oh, yeah.
And there's none of that in the sewer system. Like it's Chicago. It's Chicago, right? So is that where it's set? Or is it New York?
Well, they go back to Chicago.
Well, it has to take place in...
It takes place in Chicago.
Okay. But it's filmed in Los Angeles.
So then we meet our hero, Robert, played by Robert Forster.
Who I forgot he was in that. I was like, oh, cool. When I saw the credits come up, there's two names that as soon as I saw, I was like, yes, Robert Forster and then Henry Silva. Yes. I love seeing both those guys in movies.
Is Henry Silva the guy who plays...
He's the guy, the hunter guy.
Oh.
He's also a bad dude in Sharky's Machine.
No, it never. Yes,
he's always a bad dude. He's always a bad dude.
He's like that actor Richard Lynch who always played bad dude.
Well, he has a face,
criminal face.
He's also a
good old criminal face.
He's also a rapping mobster in Ghost Dog: Way of the Samurai.
Wow, I haven't seen that movie
you know
forever.
what? I haven't seen that forever, but you're right. He is in that.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So Robert Forster.
This crazy bad hair
of Jackie Brown fame. It took me a minute. I was like, I fucking know this guy.
Yeah, he was one of those guys. I watched a little interview with John Sayles after in the special features on this, and they wanted Robert Forster. He said he's one of those guys that was underused in movies. He's seen him in a lot of things. He's in Haxel Wessler's Medium Cool.
He is,
which is a great film.
It is,
and he just sort of always flies under the radar, and I think Tarantino probably he saw him in all this stuff and put him in.
Oh yeah,
he gave an amazing supporting performance a few years ago too in The Descendants.
Totally, yeah.
Alexander Payne. He played George Clooney's father-in-law, and he has a devastating scene where he bids farewell to his daughter who's on life support, and he gives a really great speech to George Clooney about how he felt he mistreated his daughter in their marriage. He's a damn good actor.
He's a damn good actor.
So we first see Robert Forster in a pet store buying a motherfucking puppy dog.
Yeah.
Just so we like him because
he likes puppies.
Yeah, he buys a dog, and then he talks to the pet store clerk.
Who like he has no concept of the understanding of animals at all, because he has no concept of being in a pet store, owning or running a pet store. But then you find out like a few minutes later what he's actually doing. He's driving around the neighborhood stealing dogs to take to the lab so they can experiment on them.
Oh, I missed that bit.
How did you miss that bit? It's in the first 5 minutes.
I don't know.
I don't know. I was doing my laundry.
There's a surprising amount of detail to keep track of. No,
so
he about a fucking alligator.
Well, he drives around neighborhoods. He puts the dogs that he finds just wandering around in the back of his van, takes them to the evil lab where they're experimenting on them for some reason. And there's that evil lab guy who's very short. And
they're experimenting a growth hormone.
Experimenting?
And they say they're experimenting with a growth hormone.
Right.
Yes.
Supposedly to take care of the food crisis.
I think they should have gone full mad scientist. Instead, they went with like Doogie Howser.
But he was a dick. I was hoping he was going to get eaten, because anybody that shows up and says something like untowards to any of the main characters gets eaten. And I was hoping he was going to be one.
Not in Jurassic Park.
No, we're not talking Jurassic Park.
I thought he did get eaten. Didn't
no,
he?
he just. He was he at the wedding?
I thought he was the future son-in-law, or was that
Maybe
totally wrong?
Was he?
I don't know, because he looked like all the other guys at the wedding.
I didn't recognize him without his lab coat.
You put anybody in a tuxedo and they all look the same to me.
But he says they're talking about what they do at the lab at one point in the movie, and he says, "Hyper-excite the organism's metabolic rate," which is the best. I hope that was his audition line.
Yeah.
I bet you the first actor who actually said that, I will hyper-excite the organism's
hyper-excite their metabolic rate.
It's very difficult to say hyper-excite the organism's metabolic rate. I can't even rap it.
No.
Can you say it in the voice of Louis C.K.?
God. But, okay.
Hyper-excite the organism's metabolic rate.
Okay, so then after we realize what's happening, the dogs are being experimented on, and sleazy pet store guy is also for some reason responsible of disposing of the dogs that they murdered.
Yeah.
And then so he has them all in garbage bags, and he takes them to the sewer, and he tosses them into like the
badly.
sewer.
He can't even throw it 3 feet. And he just drops it.
The thing is, and who even cares if it lands on the ledge?
Why do you care so much? Exactly.
Now and so he throws the dead carcasses of the dog, which he's emptying out of a bag with there's no gloves.
He has them in a shopping cart.
In a shopping cart, and he wheels down into the sewer system.
That's not suspicious at all.
And then the really dumb thing that he did, which I thought, okay, he has a bag, a shopping cart of dead dogs.
Yeah.
He threw one, it landed in the water. The second one lands on the ledge, and so he figures he's got to climb down and get the one off the ledge. Why wouldn't you throw the rest of them first in case another one lands on the ledge? So he throws one, he's got to go down and move it, and he's got to go up and throw the rest of them off.
Right. I always have that problem. I make that mistake every time I have to
get rid of your dead
dogs. Get rid of several dead dogs.
Yeah. And so he gets eaten by the alligator as he's down there doing his stuff. And then they show Robert Forster's investigating some sort of problem, like limbs are washing up into the
limbs are washing up,
and he's holding like a severed leg in his
arm.
bare in his arm, a severed arm in his bare hand.
And I'm not gonna lie,
it wasn't. I had to rewind, which is also why I was a bit late. I had to rewind and. He is technically wearing a glove.
Was he? I didn't see him wearing a glove.
I had to rewind it because I was like, "There's no way." And I rewound.
I know this is 1980, and forensics are not quite what they are.
No, he's wearing a glove, but it's like a glove that the guy at Subway puts on before he makes your sandwich. So he may as well just own it and be a tough guy.
And this isn't to be funny, trying to be funny. It totally made me think of the grotesque thing that's been happening here in BC and on the West Coast last couple years, feet floating up on the shore.
I love that story, man. I wish it was still happening.
In Washington State.
Really? I didn't know that because it's been a couple years since.
So they found another one.
So that we're into double digits of, severed feet washing up on the shores of the West Coast here.
And why has no newspaper but the game is afoot on the cover? I actually stole that from CSI.
The worst ever was... The headline, that
CSI?
Metro, remember Metro News?
Sure.
There used to be the free weekly Metro.
Yeah.
now called Star Wars. They got in trouble because they had a story about Magnata, who, of course, that Lucas Magnata guy from
Is he
Montreal.
the guy who fights Professor X?
You beat me to it.
It's because you were coughing.
He was that completely grotesque serial killer who mailed body parts around the country, including to Vancouver.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But they ran a cover
from
story.
Montreal or something.
Yes.
You should use FedEx. It's a lot faster.
They ran a cover story on the Metro paper about him, and the story was about a musical revival of Footloose, and it said everybody cut Footloose, and next to it was a story about Magnata.
There's an arm in the sewer, and then there's a leg in the sewer.
Yeah. And then an old woman her dog's gone missing, and they find the dog, but it's three times the size of the dog that's beard because she
won't fit the sweater.
It won't fit the little tiny little sweater. Yeah.
Anyways, there's an arm in the sewer, then there's a leg in the sewer.
Yeah.
That just sounds like 80s pop lyrics.
And even worse,
arm in the sewer, leg in the sewer, alligator. So they find the leg, and he knows it's not the original victim because of the toenails are cut
a different way than the fingernails on the arm.
That's just like that,
which doesn't make any sense.
That's for the forensic. By the way, Robert Forster, what role as a police officer do you have? Because he just seems to do everything.
Well, he's homicide.
We haven't established that he has a receding hairline, which is apparently a very crucial element of this movie.
I was in the extras because he's the worst fucking hair you've ever seen in a movie.
It's like spray on.
Yeah. But apparently when he was hired to he was actually losing his hair, and that's his actual hair. And he said, "Well, listen, I'm losing my hair. I don't know what to. Let's make it part of the script and make it part of the story."
We haven't talked about Robert Forster's awesome partner, who's my favorite thing about this movie.
Which he doesn't have a partner in this movie.
Or whatever. Who's the Wilford Brimley wannabe?
The guy with the eyebrows and the guy that voice like this.
His partner.
He's a chief. He's a chief.
It's Michael Gazzo, who's most famously known as Frank Pentangelli. I can never say the last name, but he's the traitor in Godfather 2.
Wrong.
The surrogate Clemenza.
He is actually best known as Ambrose from the TV series Automan.
No, he is not best known.
As Rico from The Fall Guy.
No, he is best known for Godfather 2.
So when it's always because it was a very low budget movie. It's like the budget for this movie is $1.5 million, and they had one animatronic alligator they made for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I actually.
No, it's this is all the extras I watched, and so every time they show the alligator, which is at the beginning, it's like there's shadows and there's a scene. So from the alligator's point of view, it's creeping up on people, and they have almost identical Jaws music. It's like jump, 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 jump.
Especially when the cops, when the river cops fall in the water and they're underwater. I swear that was deliberate to go like doo 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 doo.
Oh, I love that crazy fucking scene in the river. Like that made no sense to me, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
But Robert Forster, and he just picks this random rando dude to come and who's a really annoying character. Anybody that's annoying, anybody that's bad in this movie gets eaten.
He's a new cop. It's like his first week or something, isn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah, because that's a big cliche, or as some people like to put it, more less pejoratively, a trope.
Yeah.
Where it's always the cop who has partners, a bad history of partners dying.
Yeah, of course.
Dirty Harry did it. Naked Gun even did it, made fun of it. But so many films where the ex-partner ends up dead if he works with
him.
So
they go down to the sewer.
So they picks this young rookie guy.
Well, before that, they also have a scene back in the lab with the old bald, like he's the evil guy. He's running the whole show, and there's that line that shows up in every. He's breathing down my neck to get the next product out there, and
we really want to hyperexcite the organism's metabolic rate.
Exactly, yeah. And so Robert Forster is there. He's talking to the young doctor guy who's evil. And he goes. He asks him about this. He asks him because they found the dog that's really big, and he asks him if this drug exists. And he goes, "No, not at the present time." Like, and it's like, well, why would you even say that? Yeah. Not working on anything here. Nope. A press conference to sort of discuss what's going on with all the limbs to watch up, and there's always that one jerk.
The reporter.
And he's like calling him out on this. You had a partner that died, didn't you?
You must have felt really bad when your partner died.
Yeah, did you kill him?
Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know that guy is probably gonna get it.
Yeah,
and then
they go down. So we should probably speed this thing along. So they go down into the sewer looking for what? I can't even remember.
No,
evidence.
And so him and the cop guy go down,
and the young cop
he gets attacked and eaten. And,
but he's a prankster. So
right.
he
Which
kind
is
of
ridiculous. What kind of fucking prank is that?
You're in the police force and you pretend to just go missing in the sewers. And then Goose, your superior.
What was it?
Anyways, and they get chased by the alligator and they're climbing a ladder and then Jokester Boy gets fucking
finally
properly.
Yeah.
And that was actually a pretty horrifying scene. I liked it.
Madison, that's Robert Forster's character's name. He's in the hospital for some reason. Why is he in the hospital?
He's in shock.
And he asked the nurse, "What am I doing here?" And she says, I don't know. You just popped out of a manhole on Campbell Street and started yelling alligator.
But why is that enough to put someone in the hospital? I don't get why you go to the hospital? Why just go home?
You were found in shock.
And he was jerking off.
Yeah, but if you're found in shock, I don't think you go to the hospital, do you? I don't know.
I think you do.
I was in shock once. I got hit by a truck and had to go to the hospital.
You got hit by a truck?
Yeah, I did.
Well, the thing is, the reason you went to the hospital is because you got hit by a truck, not because you were in shock. But the thing is, the reason you went to the hospital because you got hit by the truck.
True, but I wasn't.
They want to make sure you're okay.
You know what? I'm not joking. I was laughing hysterically. I couldn't stop laughing. It was on the Murray McKay Bridge
in Dartmouth.
And between Dartmouth and Elvis.
Is that the one you told the story about masturbating on top of the car that
into
people
the
were
guy's
having sex?
From 800 feet
up. Well, no, we didn't. We didn't masturbate. There was a couple getting it on.
You're eating a sandwich. That's right.
Couple getting it on. No, but that same bridge, I got hit by a truck. It has no sidewalk. I got hit by a truck. I wasn't injured, but I could not. I was laughing hysterically. Well, anyone could be hit by a car.
Although I wouldn't
knock on wood.
I would happily watch two couples fuck from a bridge.
While I eat my sandwich.
More fun than getting hit by a truck.
For those of
fuck is more fun than a truck.
No, that was a good
so, anyways, so the nurse says you just popped up out of a manhole on Campbell Street and started yelling alligator. How, as an actor, do you go into an audition and say that with a straight face?
Say it again. With more conviction.
So then the reporter comes.
Say like a.
So then he's just like all movie heroes. He puts his pants on without his underwear.
Well, I know he had underwear on. That because he had the hospital gown. But I said, oh, he shouldn't have underwear on.
Yeah,
he was wearing underwear. Yeah, which I was a little disappointed at.
And then he gets on his jeans. He's like, I'm out of here, and he leaves. Yeah. Then the reporter turns up.
The idiot reporter.
And he talks to the nurse. And she says, "Oh, I think he's off his meds." And then this genius reporter says, "What are meds?"
I was reading, "What are meds?" Really? Like, what are meds? Is this a new word in 1980?
Did he mean what meds? Maybe?
No, he said, "What are meds?" Because she says medication. It's what doctors say when they mean medication.
Well, what's that?
They're
pills are magic gelatin balls that make your tummy feel better.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, he's obviously a moron because he doesn't know what meds are.
Yeah, and you know, as soon as he went down the sewer and he starts taking pictures of stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because
he's taking a picture of a boot.
The nurse is like, well, he was talking about some horrific alligator down in the sewer. He's like, I guess I better go down there without a gun.
And I was so pumped because the second I saw him down in the sewer, I knew we were going to get rid of this guy.
Yeah, because he was. Yeah,
I was so happy.
Yeah,
that he was down
he had that in movies like this, that sort of like annoying cavalier attitude that reporters have, that they're just trying to annoy you with his eyebrows moving. Oh, you killed your partner, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I just want that.
There's a lot of reporter bashing in Hollywood. Like it's always like the nosy reporter who just wants to get published and all that crap. You know?
Yeah,
like in Manhunter.
And this part reminded me.
Set him on fire.
And send him down in the wheelchair.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
And this part, by the way, reminded me of Jaws 2 because.
Jaws 2
begins,
Jaws also?
No, Jaws 2.
Jaws as well.
Yeah, Jaws 2 because Jaws Part 2,
right?
Because it begins with a diver who gets eaten but gets photographic evidence of a shark.
At least, you might as well take pictures of yourself getting eaten if you're going to.
Well, especially now in the selfie era, right? If you're going to get eaten alive,
it's really funny because when they see the photographs in the next scene and they show the big mouth. And there's a scene when they showed the front page of the newspaper, and it said reporter takes pictures while he gets. But the alligator mouth closed, and you see the hand sticking out. How the fuck is he taking a picture while his hands in the mouth of the alligator? Like, he's like the last thing.
Well, maybe he set a delay, like a 30 second.
Right.
Hey, selfie.
So just give me
Selfie.
a second.
His head would have been in there if he had a
And
chance.
also, like,
Selfie.
where did they find the camera?
Well, it was just
Well, they
sitting,
say
it was sitting in the sewer.
Again, you not watching the movie at this point. I guess you're having a leak or something, pissing out that screwdriver you were making. But
what?
But because you said you made a screwdriver.
I'm really
earlier?
concerned with my body. I mean, a couple of screwdrivers.
Oh, there you go. You're having a leak because they said they found it at the mouth of like.
I was also researching shit on IMDb. So
you were researching shit.
Sorry if I wasn't. Sorry if my
You're
eyes
having
weren't
alligator feces.
But it weren't glued to the fucking screen.
You should be. This is a riveting movie.
It wasn't that riveting, but I did enjoy it.
So
everyone suddenly the town is ablaze with alligator.
So there's an alligator in the sewers, and the cops have a plan to flush it out. They have the SWAT teams going in. They're making noise. They actually, for some reason, they're piling sandbags around. And
why are they banging pots and pans?
Well, to scare it out. They're trying to funnel the alligator out to the where they can shoot it.
At least, because I thought because you see the news. And it's all like, and by the way, every channel is like, alligator, alligator, alligator.
Alligator.
And then you see, there's a really hilarious bit where you see the mayor, and what's obviously a set meant to look at the mayor's office.
It was the worst thing. I thought it was like something out of the movie they just put in the movie. Like, it was superimposed that they just, it looked so
awful.
terrible.
It reminded me of that bit in The Jerk where the guy is, who is this, Carl Reiner, where he's saying how his eyes are now permanently cross-eyed because of this fucking
the glass thing.
Like, he looks so fake. He's like, I'm the mayor of Chicago and alligators.
And alligators.
And it's so dumb. Oh, by the way, okay, so when you're going hunting for an alligator, do you need a rocket launcher?
I have rocket launcher. Yeah. Why you have a rocket launcher? What are you going to do?
We should play bingo, dude.
It's a fucking animal.
It's like, maybe try not to kill the thing, although it's already eaten like 4 people.
No, the idea is to kill the thing.
No, but like seriously, like a rocket launcher is kind of overkill.
It's a little overkill, yeah.
But at least this is a refreshing change from that Jaws thing where the mayor's like, there's no alligator, and our sewer festival is coming up. Do you know how much money we get when people go down to the sewers?
You know how awesome
like,
that would be. Yeah. The sewer festival, the annual sewer festival.
It's always a festival.
Yeah, come on,
because he also says in Jaws, he's like, you say barracuda, people go, huh? You say shark, you got to panic on the 4th of July. It should be like, you say crocodile. Huh?
Wait, what? What's a crocodile?
By the way, aren't crocodiles more deadly than alligators?
They are. They're bigger and they kill way more.
And they're
people.
more,
shouldn't
annoying
it be called crocodile?
Accents.
This film?
Well, because crocodiles don't live in North America.
Yeah.
So unless they said it in Australia or Africa.
Well, you could have had one smuggled in. I mean, this movie has a pretty big suspension.
Okay,
of
hold on.
It's true.
What, a 17-hour flight from Australia? You're just going to bring a fucking crocodile?
I brought an iguana from Barbados.
How long was the flight?
6 hours.
But iguanas can go without water for like years.
And iguanas fit better up the butt than a crocodile. But
it's true.
Yeah.
They have less teeth.
I prefer an eel myself.
Well,
Something without limbs.
Yeah.
Anyway, so alligator lady shows up. So she's a redhead. So April O'Neil.
I don't remember red hair.
Yeah, she's got red hair. I
Yeah,
know.
she's very attractive.
Yes.
And she looks great in those hip waders she's wearing.
And the actress's name is Robin, and she has red hair. So I'm like, there's a reason I like her.
Like a little bird?
My girlfriend is named Robin, and she has red hair. But she doesn't know shit about alligators.
You have a girlfriend?
We've been through this. Do you ever listen to me?
Nope.
Or do you just have sex and then leave?
Did someone say something?
So, but I looked through her, she's best known as the sexy nurse on Welcome Back, Kotter, and it is literally sexy nurse.
Sexy nurse.
It goes back to like 1976, Welcome Back, Kotter, sexy nurse.
And then 1980, sexy herpetologist.
Oh, right. Alligator.
Herpetologist. I guess it's an expert in cold-blooded lizards.
No.
Anyways,
alligator lady shows up, and her name is sexy nurse.
So no, she's not. She's sexy herpetologist.
Oh, and he thinks.
I can't remember what her name is in this movie actually.
I can't remember either.
Joyce. Let's call her Joyce.
Let's call her Robin.
Okay, Robin. Let's go with Robin.
So alligator lady shows up, and of course,
the alligator outsmarts everybody, all the cops.
Well, more importantly, he thinks she's going to get in the way.
Right, because she dismissed his claims.
It isn't.
You
don't even listen to the fucking podcast.
You keep throwing your scribbler down, and it's like hitting the counter.
Here's the things that I like.
Well,
actually, Oh no, because you finally see the fucking thing.
Well, okay, so like the reason that he doesn't want her there because she dismissed his claims that the alligator was huge because he saw it eat his cop buddy, and he said it was fucking huge, and she's she's right to say this. Well, alligators can't survive in the sewer, and they can't be 36 feet long, because that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But she didn't
Unless
take.
God wills
But
it.
she didn't take into account that the alligator was eating,
eating giant
dogs.
giant steroid dogs.
Yeah.
So well, she should have maybe thought this through.
So,
Anyway, so they try and flush the alligator out. Doesn't work, and the alligator decides to burst through the concrete during a street baseball game.
They scare it because they're banging pots and pans.
Yeah, and so it goes somewhere else.
Like a little kid on New Year's Eve, you give him a pot to bang at midnight.
Which you're supposed to do.
Which is what I did.
I did that as
I
a
should
kid.
do that.
Yeah, we all did.
I didn't do that. I have friends that do that. I never even heard of that tradition until like a few years ago.
By the way, and a lot of me at this part in the movie, I was hoping. I was really disappointed too because they mentioned a hamster at the beginning of the film. I was hoping there was a giant mutant hamster.
Oh my
God!
God!
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome? And
it really was.
And they fought.
The cutest thing ever.
Yeah. And they had a fight.
Sorry, what was that noise?
Isn't that what hamsters say? Anyways, let's. Where are we?
Okay,
here?
so
I'm looking at my notes in the hospital.
I have written huge letters, alligator.
Well, this is when it finally the kids are playing stickball in the street, which just before the guys about to throw the pitch, the cops are like driving around like maniacs, and then
everyone's looking for the alligator.
The kid, this is obnoxious fucking kid who refuses to get out of the way of the car, and the old scruffy voice, that guy, your buddy from
police chief.
Yeah. And
Michael Gazzo.
Who just yells every line, which is amazing. The cops are like barreling through the streets like maniacs for some reason. They don't even know where they're driving to, and they come across like some kids playing stickball in the street, and they almost run them all over, and they jam the brakes on, and one little obnoxious little fucker refuses to move, and there's a guy, so the scruffy voice he puts the cherry on the roof. Get out of the way, kid! And then they finally do, and they take off, and then the kids went to throw a pitch. And then the camera starts shaking. Yeah. And then the alligator bursts through the sidewalk.
The cardboard sidewalk.
Oh man, that was so awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Oh no, I loved it, but it was a cardboard sidewalk.
Oh, of course it was. And then all of a sudden,
your pet iguana came bursting through it.
And then it's all models with a regular size, like I don't know, maybe alligator. I don't know how big it was, but it's it's creeping along. But it's the models, which aren't very good, but it looked great.
You know what it reminded me of? Team America. when it's like we're bringing in the Panthers and it's just like black house cats with the puppets.
That's amazing. Yeah.
What I love is so this massive alligator comes bursting through the sidewalk and all the kids are like they're all just standing there watching, and then one kid says, "That's the one on the TV."
As opposed to what?
And they're all just standing there.
The one on the radio.
Like, okay, so the charlatan is right across the street. Let's say the alligator's halfway closer to us, like it's in the shop, and they're just
it's 36 feet long.
Look at the giant alligator. Yeah. And then luckily a cop gets in the way.
Well, the cops is driving, another cop driving like a maniac, and all of a sudden there's kids in the street. He goes, you see his face, he goes, ah! And he smashes into another car. The car explodes, and the cop car flips, and of course he's like one side of the car is on fire. The other side of the car is a giant alligator. So he's like, meh, fire, alligator. What do I do?
I'm probably gonna.
So I'll take my chances with the alligator.
Well, no, but I would, in that situation, I would probably roll the window down, climb on top of my car, and jump for it and run or some shit.
He's not thinking straight. So he slowly crawls out of his window as the alligator slowly approaches him. And then, of course, it bites his legs off or something like that.
I wrote down, why don't you just shoot the alligator? Because you're Officer Dipshit.
Because you have a gun and you're a cop.
He's got a loaded gun. I don't like this. I don't want... Those kids might get shot. Like, since when do Chicago cops not shoot around kids?
They shoot as soon as the sun comes up or down.
That's all they do.
They just start shooting.
And so Officer Dipshit gets his leg ripped off.
Yeah, which is great. And then there's this funny scene when the kid runs all the way up to his apartment, which is like takes about 5 seconds, and his obnoxious mom's on the phone, not listening, of course. The parents in the movie.
She's drinking a beer.
And she's talking about Dallas, like that episode of Dallas or something.
So he grabs like a kitchen, like a big knife, like a bread
knife,
and he runs out, and she's like, "Don't grab my bread knife." And he runs down. By the time he gets downstairs, the cops have already cordoned off the whole scene. There's the flares, and like everything's already done. Like this took 10 seconds. Like,
so then our hero and Robin are talking to this kid because he's some kind of witness or whatever.
Well, he saw it. That's why
he saw it, right? Yeah, whatever.
Some kind of witness.
Some kind, whatever. And
he says it's as big as a Cadillac.
He goes, it's as big as an El Dorado.
Right.
And then he says
a car.
The car, and then he goes, no, a refrigerator. Of course, a car.
The kid was so fucking obnoxious.
I was so hoping he was going to get eaten by a.
I know.
Like,
well, I was so hoping they were referring to the old El Dorado that used to be on the Kingsway.
So
El Dorado.
So anyways, let's get back to the movie. So the alligator is on the loose in the city.
Yep.
So the first thing they do is to bring in Henry Silva, the great white hunter with his giant gun, and he just dismisses everybody around him.
And his name is Turner Brock, which is a name that you only get in the movies. Because I was thinking of Brock Linehan, the hilarious talk show host character played by Martin Short on TV.
Parody of Brian Linehan.
Yeah.
Apparently that parody really hurt Brian Linehan's feelings, too.
Really?
He was hurt by it.
Toughen up, dude.
Yeah, me too. You put yourself out in the media.
Yeah, and the thing is, it wasn't a mean parody. It was a fun parody.
It was a fun parody. It's Martin Short, for Christ's sake.
If I got parodied by Martin Short, I'd be fucking honored.
Especially SCTV.
I can arrange that.
Can you?
I'll call my agent.
Make a call, will you?
So anyway, Action Man Turner Brock turns up,
and we've also
and blah 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 blah. He's a big game hunter, and all I could think of was Jurassic Park. Even though I know it came out 13 years later, but Jurassic Park. He's the clever girl. I was just like, this is the one guy who's. It turns out he's a total dipshit.
Who are we talking about? Henry Silva, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I love Henry Silva. I go watch him in anything. He's always the bad guy. Always the bad guy.
He is the one from Ghost Dog Way of the Samurai.
Oh.
He's in a bunch of shit.
Yeah, he's in a bunch of shit.
He is a rapping mobster in Ghost Dog Way of the Samurai, and it is the best fucking thing ever.
I gotta watch that again.
So we are at
6
hours. At 90 minutes of recording.
Well, there's some easy chunks to cut out.
So the alligator escapes into water.
Yeah. So it
finds a nearby lake.
Yeah, and then this is where we're introduced to Henry Silver as the cops are buzzing around the lake and boats throwing dynamite into the lake for some reason.
Again, another homage to Jaws because they throw dynamite in the water.
And another homage to Jaws because everyone's sort of celebrating. There's people selling fake alligators and stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
I love it. The one guy's selling the fake alligator. He tries to sell it to our hero.
Oh, no, the real alligator tries to sell it. There's a little baby alligator.
There's also fake ones, too.
No, it's like a real alligator. And then our hero says to the cops, bust this guy. Yeah. And they go, for what? For being a creep!
A creep or something.
Endangered species.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, Turner Brock is full on hitting on the newscaster.
Oh, he's the worst. Yeah, he's so sleazy.
Because he says,
"You're really pretty."
He says, "You're very pretty. We're going to talk about alligators. This is its mating call." Go, or whatever he's fucking doing.
And then Robert Forrester and Robin, and they bring some red shirt in to go search the sewers. I'm thinking, why you guys go back to the sewers? And you have they don't have any guns. They're just going there and looking for stuff. But obviously, I guess they think because the alligator's not there anymore, and they find the nest full of not rabid dogs, like half-eaten dogs,
dead dogs and stuff. Yeah.
So they're and then it cuts back to the creepy old guy who runs the pharmaceutical company, and he's talking about his grandson at the wedding.
That's right. Yeah. Who I thought was his main.
Whoa! Are we going?
No. This is chronological.
The kid on the fucking diving board. Yeah.
This is the next scene after this, that's my favorite scene in the movie. But the creepy old guy, he keeps referring to his son-in-law as my number one boy.
My number one boy. And all I can think is Jack. You.
What's that?
My number one guy. That's my impression of Jack Palance in Batman. But he does it again later, doesn't he?
Yeah, it was really uncomfortable.
It was weird.
Really weird.
At which point I wrote down, what's up with this mobster shit?
Yeah.
Because this isn't like a guy who runs a pharmaceutical company. This is like some weird mobstery Godfather shit.
Yeah, and he basically runs the town because he has the mayor in his pocket and the police chief in his pocket because he gets Robert Forrester taken off the case when he starts like asking too many questions at the pharmaceutical company, like turn in your badge and all this stuff. But it leads to the next scene, which is my favorite scene in the movie. It's the one scene I remember from this movie. It's haunted me. The kids' party. And they're leading the little kid out to walk the plank,
Johnny on the diving board in the pool in the backyard.
And then the mom turns the lights on the pool as the alligator opens his mouth, and the kid's like, no, because he can see it, but the other kids can't. They still push him.
And nobody knows.
And then they still push him in the pool.
And nobody knows the 50-foot alligator crawling into their fucking
pool.
Well, the thing is, it's under the dinghies and all the leaves and shit that are in the pool because nobody's cleaned that pool in a long time.
And by the way, this is
and I love that moment too.
Oh, it was to me. It still gave me chills just for the fact it's just so it's under the poor kid's control. He's pushing the water, and the way it's shot with the kid crouching, and you see the mouth, the giant mouth opening and then closing on him, and it's just, to me, that's terrifying, and it still is. When I watched it last night, it still gave me chills.
And it's a cautionary tale.
Don't go in your swimming pool. Don't have a swimming pool.
Don't blindfold a child.
Push him in the swimming pool.
And pretend to play.
Well, so that explains your terrified pounding on my apartment door last night, screaming.
Was that me?
Begging me to let you in.
Was that your house?
Because you ran all the way.
I hit a lot of houses last night. Did I hit your house?
And also, if you're playing pirates, why are you dressed up as fucking cowboys? Idiots.
Well, they're kids.
But the thing is, like, what was their end game? Were they going to push the tied up, blindfolded kid in the pool?
Just make him wet.
He wasn't tied up. He had a blindfold on.
Still, he's the kid's like 5 years old. You can't push a 5-year-old in a pool, even if there's no alligator in it, right?
Well, they're not going to do that again, are they?
Well, no.
Learn the hard way.
Little Sven is now.
Sven?
I don't know what his name was. I assume it was Sven, but he's dead. He got, all the blood floats up. They
don't often kill children.
I have to say, I'm a parent, and I have a child because I'm a parent. But I love when movies kill children because it doesn't happen very often, and it's always it just adds a little more depth and holy fuck they did this because it rarely happens. Kids get a pass in movies. Kids and dogs get a pass in movies.
I was just about to say. You know why I like this movie so much? Because I hate kids and I hate dogs, and this movie kills plenty of them.
Kills plenty of children.
Well, because you're always supposed to just like, oh, the poor dog.
No, but I love when a movie will have the balls to kill a child,
like Jaws.
Okay, so have they boned yet?
That scene is so
Our
unnecessary.
hero and Robin, they hook up and
at her mom's house because
at his place,
which is basically a pull-out couch.
And he has a poster of an artist called Ramon Santiago.
That's right, Ramon.
You noticed that?
I did notice that. Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's kind of clever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she has a shower. And then she comes out of the shower fully clothed, but her shoulders are soaked. Did you notice this? Like her.
Did you have a shower?
I can't remember the last time I saw a woman come out of the shower like fully clothed, but with wet hair. But I don't think your shoulders are.
It should be glistening.
It's insane how wet her shoulders are. It's distracting.
Well, maybe she just dipped her upper torso into the bathtub and washed her hair and got it. Maybe she didn't have.
Still, you take your shirt off and you do the torso.
Yeah,
you leave the shirt on.
The torso.
She looks like Rocky after running 8 miles because she's wearing a gray sweater and she's so wet.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. There's a lot of weird things.
And he uses the old Annie Hall pickup mode, where he's like, should we go out for dinner? And she's like, yeah, okay.
Well, as soon as he pulled that fucking line out, it's like, oh, God.
And I was like,
I'm going to have a nervous stomach because I can't think if we're going to make love tonight.
Yeah.
The thing is, I thought he was going to say if we're going to kiss, which is a little more appropriate. You're jumping right into bed with this woman.
I'm going to have a hard time maintaining an erection if we go out and have a huge plate of sushi.
Yeah, I want to eat some pasta, but I'm thinking I might want to fuck you later.
So what should I order so I don't get gas while I'm boning you?
Yeah.
She's like, kiss me, you fool, or whatever. And then he says, so should I take that as... Oh, what does he say? As a definitive yes.
A definitive yes. So can we sign this contract saying we're gonna go home after I take you for some clams and
some clam chowder
and we're gonna fuck. Can we just get like can you sign this?
Because I was actually thinking this sounds like, remember those social justice warrior campus consent about 7 years ago on campuses? It was all the rage to have just absolute and they
consent,
were even like signing contracts before they boned, which just takes all of the fun out of everything.
Well, that's pretty erotic.
Yeah.
If you sign it in semen.
There is a consent issue,
sign
though.
it in semen.
There is a big consent issue since you bring it up, because you know why?
Oh.
Robert Forster.
Oh, God.
I don't get it.
Think about it.
Consent?
Robert Forster.
Oh, God.
That's actually a really good joke.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of puns. That one was passable.
Have you been working on that since you watched?
No, I haven't, but
I will allow that for this podcast. I will allow that joke. Okay?
Whether the listeners will allow it.
There'll
probably be protesters lined up
There's
outside
blood
the door.
coming out of their ears. You know, it's not Annie Hall. Annie Hall would have been maybe a better movie if it had an alligator in it. I don't know.
Okay, so let's keep things moving right along.
Okay, so
they kill the kid.
Yeah, and so the next scene is
Turner Brock recruits some native guys.
He calls it because he's
otherwise known as black people.
He thinks he's on safari basically, so he buys them a 6-pack, and he offers them $10 each a day
per day,
which is still not a lot of money in 19. It's not a lot of money in 1980. Like it's not a lot of money now. It's not a lot of money in 1980. And the other guy's like, I want 20. Like, because he's better than the other ones, and he gives it to him, and so he's
the leader,
and so they hunt down the alligator in the alleys, and
and by the way, and Turner Brock is just walking around with a rifle.
At this point, the title of the film totally makes sense to me. It's an alligator.
Ah, Jesus.
So,
hey, does anybody remember Mr. Dressup had an alligator puppet called Alligator?
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I think he was gay.
Mr. Dressup?
No, both of them probably.
Sure, why not?
No, in the 80s.
Yeah, it's not fucking 80s. Cocaine and gay.
So fuck.
They hunt down the alligator in the alley, which for some reason is hiding in trash. Wherever he goes, he hides in trash.
He's hiding.
Because he's a smart alligator.
Yeah, in the pool he hides himself under some.
A dinghy and some
toys
leaves.
And some,
a bunch of leaves.
Water wings and stuff.
Yeah.
And here he's hiding under some fucking
some garbage. He's just hiding in garbage.
Yeah, like hamburger boxes and whatnot.
But
why? Why is he in this alley?
But not.
And why do these black people know that there's going to be an alligator in that alley?
There's
which is, by the way, 15 feet away from where he buys them beer.
I know. There's no explanation for any of that. And the thing is, the alligator not only hides in the trash once, but twice. Because there's the ridiculous scene after they discover it, there's a shadow. They can see the shadow of the alligator's mouth as it backs away, and then it hides in some more trash. I guess it throws trash on itself as he's hiding.
With his little tiny arms.
With his little arms.
And a giant tail.
Yeah. And so Henry Silva walks in the alley and it surprises him. I don't know how you can be surprised.
When you're creeping down an alley with a loaded rifle.
And a giant, like a 36 foot. How can you be surprised by that? And anyways, it surprises him. And then the $20 black guy runs in hears the screams and he runs in the alley. And he sees chomp, chomp, chomp. He's being chomped. He's screaming.
Pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome.
The way Silva dies.
But the thing is, if you look at it, he's being eaten crosswise, he's in his torso.
I also noticed that.
Yeah, and then later he's being swallowed whole.
Well, that's how I eat my hot dogs.
You chop it and then you spit it out.
And I don't use my hands. I just put the hot dog lengthwise in my mouth, and I just kind of bite it, and I tilt my head back, and it sort of folds over and falls.
I don't think Henry Silva folded.
No, he doesn't, because it actually doesn't look that bad when he's being eaten. I'm like, well, that wouldn't be so bad.
No, it would be so bad.
Well, no, you just
who wants to be eaten by a crocodile?
No, you just wait for the alligator to go to sleep and then crawl out of his stomach.
But he'd already been chewed in half almost by his organs are all torn apart because he's. But yeah, the whole physics of that scene is.
They were clearly going for Jaws on this one, when
it was told Jaws he's being sucked down. Wait, what? Who said wait?
He said Quint.
Oh, I said wait.
Somehow Alex knew I didn't know what's his name's name in that movie. Anyway, so he's getting swallowed a lot. It's actually a pretty impressive That'd be a lot of fun to be eaten by an alligator in a movie.
I would love that. I love to be like that. I want that. I want that to happen to me sometime.
So meanwhile, we're supposed to care about our hero and
their relationship. So they go home and
so they bone, and then they go out for dinner.
And he turns into a fucking jerk.
And he just turns it. Oh, because
like a total jerk.
No, because there happen to be some cops at the diner.
Yeah.
And they make a joke about, hey, Jurassic Park guy. And they're like, we don't know what you're talking about. But,
because it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, but he got eaten by an alligator in an alleyway. And somehow the alligator got away. So, well, we found his hand in an alley or some shit.
But the thing is, he's already off the case because he was questioning the old decrepit dude.
Yeah,
so he wears that terrible red sweater wherever he is. It's like his sister's sweater that's way too small for him that he just decides to wear everywhere. Like he's the worst hair and the worst outfits. that red too small sweater. Like who the fuck gave this guy his costumes? Like
I might have a sweater or two like that. If it's cold out and I'm not on a date and I'm wearing it under a coat, I'll wear my undersized red sweater. Anyways,
if you're on a date or not on a date.
If I'm not on a date,
okay.
Like if I'm just going to buy groceries or some shit.
No, because you date so much.
I don't.
You
anyway,
should.
so
you should. You're a good guy, you know.
Yeah, I got this girl called Robin.
Oh.
She doesn't listen to the podcast.
Not the same Robin in the movie.
No, but she has red hair and she knows about alligators.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he goes.
Herpetologist.
And he's like, so he finds out that the guy from Jurassic Park that he just met 12 hours ago, who got him fired, got eaten by an alligator, and then he's like, ugh. And then Robin goes, I understand. And he goes, don't understand me so quick.
I know, it was weird.
You just fucked her, dude.
Yeah,
why wasn't he saying, don't understand me so quick when he was having sex with her?
Well, yeah. Why is this a problem all of a sudden?
Yeah.
No,
because then you see him having another nightmare where the fucking guy's being.
Well, the thing is that the cops say I'm sorry because they think that Robert Forrest is gonna be upset because Henry Silva got eaten, and all of a sudden he's upset. But there's no reason for him to be upset because Henry Silva like dissed him.
And they met for maybe 5 minutes.
Exactly. Why? You don't even know this fucking guy.
Who gives a shit? It'd be like if one of our customers got eaten by an alligator. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
that's a drag.
most of you,
That's a
but
drag.
I wouldn't give a shit.
No, I'm not gonna get
angry. Unless you had late fees.
I'm not gonna get angry at the woman I just slept with because
it's not
the
the same as if a regular customer got eaten. It's if a new sign-up got eaten.
Right?
Yeah, if Ross Allen got eaten by an alligator, I'd be really upset.
I would be too. Or like I could like if Gordon
Ramsay?
TJ will probably be eaten by an alligator.
Imagine I meet a woman yesterday.
I can imagine that.
And she's helping me with the movies.
Your groceries.
For some reason.
And
then she leaves. And then some guy comes in and he's like, I'm not going to pay my late fees because you're a jerk and fuck your store. Ha ha. And then he leaves. And then I go on a date and I have sex with that woman.
So it's like a regular Tuesday.
And then we go to this charlatan for chicken wings.
Mm.
And then I find out from some guy at the adjacent table that guy who was mean to me at work got eaten by an alligator. I wouldn't turn to the woman I just had sex with and go, fuck off, you harlot. Like, yeah, you're getting too close, you clingy bitch. Like,
that's exactly what happened in this movie.
And then go home and have a nightmare.
Yeah.
And then go to somehow find out where she lives.
And with her mom. And then
what was that?
And then the thing is, he's in the kitchen with her mom for like an eternity, it seemed.
And the mom has no idea who he is.
No, and she says, he says to her, "What's your name?"
Yeah. And she's like, "Oh man, I have the evil eye. Guess which one it is."
Which is a cute little joke.
Yeah,
it's an old lady joke. It's
sure,
cute.
okay,
but the thing is, he's in her house for like forever. And he doesn't even know what her name is.
Yeah.
Like they just.
Or how, and she never says, how the hell did you find my adult daughter who's sleeping?
And why is her adult professional daughter still living with mom? Like, that's never explained.
Also on the phone, there was some joke where the naggy mom was nagging.
The naggy mom was nagging.
It's funny when naggy moms nag.
Naggy moms will nag.
Another beer, please.
So
yeah, I might as well grab you one too.
Why do I always take this spot in the shop? You okay with lager, D?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we'll do it. This is an attempt at an ad. Do you need your hair cut? Well, go to Jefferson's Barbershop. Because they have scissors.
If I had hair, I would go there all the time.
But they'll do your beard. You still have
I've gotten beard trims. I have gotten haircuts there in the past.
Yeah.
And they did an excellent job. I just don't usually get a haircut anywhere other than my own bathroom with my own pair of clippers because I'm bald.
It's free.
And it's free. But yes, they've given me excellent beard trims.
They'll do a beard trim for like $10.
I know, they're a great.
And if you tell me we're going to
I wouldn't start putting their prices out there. You don't know how much a beard trim there costs.
Well, I don't know. They usually do my beard for about $10.
Well, if you say $10 and then someone shows up and they want more than $10,
what are you guys
false
talking about?
advertising. Jefferson's Barbershop.
Oh, they do a good job. But then we come to this.
The boat cops.
My other favorite scene in the movie is when the cops are driving like maniacs around like some canal.
They're just like,
and they can see.
Suddenly it's Miami Vice, right?
And they have binoculars. They can see the back of the alligator that's sitting in the water.
Yeah.
And they start shooting at it, and then it dives, and then it disappears. And they're driving around crazy people.
That's crazy, yeah.
And then they see it again, and for some reason they drive over the alligator,
and
everyone flies out of the boat.
And then the one guy, like, he winds up in the water.
Two guys wind up in the water. One guy gets eaten outright, and they have the jaws thing. It's like,
right? He gets eaten out.
There's no comma there.
It's like very Canadian. One guy gets eaten out, right?
Right. The camera's coming up on the lake swimming, which is always effective.
And that's where the Jaws music comes in. Sorry.
Well, the Jaws music is everywhere in this movie. It's like da-dunk, 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 everywhere. And but any scene that shows like someone vulnerable in the water with their legs flailing about, and there's something coming. It's always effective because it's terrifying. When you're in the water, you're out of your element. It's always fucking scary, to me, anyways. But so one guy gets devoured, and then the other idiot who's in the boat. This movie's full of idiots, and the other idiot who got tossed out of the boat, he's swimming to the other boat that's coming to rescue him, and they almost get him, and it's like Tom, and they pull him out of the water, and he's missing those lower legs.
Okay, so
awesome.
Here's my question.
All right,
and it's profound. Did they hire a guy with no legs to play that part?
Well, I bet they did. Because they didn't have the technology to computer remove his legs.
And never mind that.
I hadn't even thought about that.
They're not going to make a fucking dummy with no legs.
Well, or
even though you probably get a discount.
Or they just tore someone's legs off for the movie.
Maybe they just had a guy get eaten by an alligator.
Yeah, they probably hired an amputee because that was a common technique back then. And I'm going back 20 years before that. Spartacus. There's like a couple of scenes where arms get chopped off and stuff. They hired people who were missing part of their arm.
Makes sense.
To have a prosthetic arm chopped off.
Because they couldn't digitally remove it then.
No.
So
yeah, they had to physically remove it.
Yeah. Well, I like the commitment to to I'll be in this movie.
Yeah.
Well, you have to have your arm cut off. Well,
Twilight Zone, the movie went too far though.
Well, well, Vic Morrow didn't sign on. I mean, he did. Like, listen, Vic Morrow. We're going to cut your head off with a propeller from a helicopter. You guys cool with that? Yeah, let me talk to my wife. And yeah.
By the way, his daughter's Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Really?
Really?
Her real name's Jennifer Lee Morrow.
I didn't know that.
Oh.
I've always loved that woman. I think she's one of my favorite actors.
I genuinely think she's the most attractive woman in Hollywood. I've always thought she's the sexiest actor ever.
She was great. Well, back in the day, she was great.
She takes Jason from...
Friday the
13th? Jason Robards, I think, was her godfather. I believe.
Really? Wow, it sounds
or she just loved him.
And so music deliberately ripping off Jaws.
I've got here, hey, no legs. Okay, we're past that.
Hey, no legs?
Yeah.
Is that what you would shout if you saw him on the side street?
Hey, no legs, get in the boat. But then the next scene is like divers going into the water to look like, no, I'm not going to the water. Like fuck that shit.
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of being eaten by an alligator.
Yeah. Like there's a 36-foot alligator eating people. I'm not going in looking for body parts or whatever.
What does it take to kill this fucking thing?
And then
surely if you shoot it with a machine gun, it will kill.
It has really tough skin, but nobody can get a shot at it.
Bulletproof.
It's a bulletproof.
Is it
alligator.
an X-Man?
Well, it's been eating radioactive dogs or something. Like who knows what powers it has?
The scales are extra
flies. I don't know.
So now we get to
we cut to the
let's cut to the wedding.
They cut to the big wedding scene, which was pretty awesome. It's that old fucking guy who runs a pharmaceutical company. His daughter's getting married to douchebag.
Yeah,
and
he's in the pharmaceutical mafia.
And I'm watching the scene. He's grilling steaks. and like he's
overcooking. By the
Overcooking
way.
it. I have written down here he should be killed for overcooking those fucking
Well, he's
steaks.
American.
That's a crime against steaks.
Trump has a well done steak, which I think is the worst.
And he puts
the worst
ketchup
thing
on
about
it.
That's just repulsive.
Yeah, no, he's a garbage person.
He has no taste.
Anybody that does that is a
That
garbage
guy
person.
needs to start drinking. Anyways, can you believe Trump's never had a drink?
Oh no, I don't believe that at all. That's horseshit.
No, I can see him being one of those people who doesn't enjoy a beer. Like,
No, he doesn't enjoy anything.
He's an extraterrestrial. Anyways, yeah. So fucking baldy mustache mafia.
Yeah,
and there's this weird scene where he's like talking about the kind of.
Well, it was a weird scene when he's grilling the steaks because the mayor is standing beside him. He's trying to get in the conversation, but the old dude's trying to pick up.
The old dude's talking to some chick, and he's like, "Here's the kind of wood I use. I use a bit of
this is how I ruin steaks, basically.
Yeah, this is how I overcook steaks."
Yeah.
And she's just like, "You can take it off the grill anytime."
Yeah, please take it off the grill. Stop pushing it. Stop pushing on it and like, draining all the juices out of it. You old fuck.
Blah blah blah. The fucking alligator turns up,
Which is amazing. As soon as it bursts, there's a scene when it shows the smoke and you picture the smell of the delicious steaks cooking going into the bushes.
Is that what attracts the fucking alligator?
I don't know.
It does.
Yeah.
It sort of implies that I saw that show.
But the thing is, like, the alligator doesn't know what grilled meat is, and eats raw everything.
I don't even know if they can smell outside of the water.
Yeah.
It appeals to him. It's the first time.
He loves a baked potato.
But why wouldn't he go to like a hot dog cart or like a restaurant that you can smell?
It didn't go directly into the bushes where he was.
Maybe that's why he liked the garbage so much.
And
we haven't talked about Baldy McMustache.
Who's Baldy McMustache?
Baldy McMustache is the chief, the police chief.
Yeah, we've talked.
No, he's standing there. He's standing there. He's like, and then there's some cops standing behind him. And he's like, "What are you looking in the bushes for?" He's not hiding in the bushes.
And he's always yelling. He yells all of his lines, and which makes him my favorite character.
They should call him Chief Filler because every scene he's in is irrelevant.
So they have to have like subplots and this and that.
Oh,
but when the alligator attacks the wedding. And it's chaos when he chomps down on that the
maid.
Yeah, and right on her vagina.
Ooh.
It's like she's like when I was watching that because it's like a physical reaction. She's like, I'm just wondering if that actually maybe hurt her, like when they're filming it because it's right on her vagina. Yeah, because it was to me that's always stuck in my mind because it's right there. But then it starts hitting people with his tail.
Meanwhile,
the guys are flies into the wedding cake.
One guy gets hit in the ass. It's like one guy's like his back is turned, and this enormous fucking giant reptile tail hits him super hard in the ass, like spanks him like a bitch,
and he goes
flying. The number of stunt people just flying through the air. It's like Benny Hill.
The best one was the guy that did the backflip into the wedding cake, though. That was amazing.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
he got Cirque du Soleil.
He got hit by the tail, and he did like a rotation of 360 in the air and smashed into the wedding cake.
You know the director.
Louis Teague.
Louis Teague was like, okay, before this shit hits the fan, make sure we get a shot of that fucking wedding cake.
Yeah.
We spent like $500 on this cake. We're going to have a guy from Cirque du Soleil do a backflip. It's going to blow your fucking mind. Robin and our hero, they show up, and the guy's got his legs ripped off. And somehow he's like, the alligator's gone to the wedding.
Yeah.
And he never explains his logic. Like,
yeah. Well, it's funny because when they drive up to the gate, and the guy wouldn't let them in. Chaos is blowing up. The whole wedding's being attacked by a giant alligator.
I just don't think they're aware that.
But how could they not be aware? People are running, screaming everywhere. Like there's no way. How could he not be aware?
Well, I mean, I guess
he has like the face of like one of those like basset hounds. Like,
yeah. Well, maybe it's on the other side of the house, so you can't hear it.
The house is that big, you can't hear when an alligator is attacking the wedding party.
He's a pharmaceutical mafia millionaire.
Yeah,
he pays for this.
Anyway, so the alligator wreaks havoc on the wedding. When I first watched it, I thought I saw the bride being eaten.
No, she fell in the pool.
She fell in the pool, and I thought that was so awesome. The bride got eaten. Because it just adds a little bit more.
She doesn't get eaten.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't. I was sad
because I was glad she didn't. I'm glad the groom bit the dust.
Did the groom get eaten?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Did Blondie get eaten?
Was that was my number one boy? He got eaten. And was he the guy? Was he the lab guy?
I think he was, but I'm not sure.
I don't recognize him without his lab coat.
I think we should say he's the lab guy I think we should go with
yeah,
that because
that's
everything
just-
ties
that's
in, and
wishful
it
thinking.
makes me feel better that evil
Because
person.
yeah,
got eaten.
the evil
Who-
son-in-law would have done
the torturer
everything.
of
I mean,
animals.
we might be proven wrong here, but I think our instincts are going in the right direction. He
Hey,
deserves
listeners, prove us wrong.
to be eaten. Like the future son-in-law
Yeah.
would be the most corrupt scientist.
Yeah.
So
in the
he's
lab.
and he's
That
like,
makes
yeah,
sense.
he's like Dr. Moreau.
But yeah, I didn't because he's like blonde. He's like a Ken doll basically.
Yeah.
Like he's just a boring looking handsome man.
So then we get story of my life.
You're a
So
boring
it's-
looking handsome man.
You have no idea how boring my life is because I'm so handsome.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
So he,
Well-
then we get full on weird mobster moment, and I don't know if you guys interpret it this way, but when fucking Baldy Mafia dude
he locks the doors.
locks it for no reason,
Yeah, I
he
know.
runs into a limo.
Because he's a coward.
Which doesn't go anywhere.
Well, and also like rap on the window, time to drive away. There's a huge
Yeah.
alligator killing everyone in my fucking family, and then the mayor's like, "Let me into your car."
Yeah. And he doesn't think to run maybe around the other side of the car where the alligator
Or,
is not.
or maybe the mayor should just run away from the alligator.
Yeah, exactly. It's so
he's
great.
just like, I gotta get it. The
Yeah.
safest place is inside a fucking
And
limousine.
the old man's like looking at him with this stupid look on his face. But when the alligator grabs the mayor and starts bashing his head against the to me like why is he to me the alligator's just murdering people now. Like, he's not even he's not even hungry.
Slasher
He's
film at
just
this
murdering people.
Yeah.
It's
He's
the
not
shark
even
and
eating
Jaws too. This is where it resembles more Jaws too.
Right, because
It becomes slasher movie level.
More like
Eating
Jaws-
helicopters
more like Jaws
and stuff.
Yeah, because it's not an animal. Animals only kill things when they want to eat it. They don't kill things because they're mad or they're pissed off at this guy
Yeah.
or they have a murderous
Or
intention.
you turned me into this with your giant dogs.
Yeah, because he doesn't know who did that. Like, there's no way the alligator can know that these are the people
Sure.
responsible for his condition.
And why wasn't the fucking limo driver driving?
Driving away, he's just
While-
staring at the horror
If
that's going
ever
on.
there was a
Great.
time to hit the gas, it's when a massive
giant
alligator.
Alligators is crying.
Hey boss, you want me to drive?
Should
you
I
want
go?
to hang
Or
out
should
with the
I-
alligator? But
You want to
then
give the alligator a lift?
fucking green goomba went into the fucking car, hey, boss.
What do we do? What do you want me to do?
But then the alligators, and this is the only surprise in this movie, was it just like crushed him to death with
Crush
its
the guy.
massive
He
tail.
just keep like smashing the old man and to the blood's coming down his head and you see the blood
Why?
trickling. Yeah, I know. Why did he pick that car and that guy to murder? Like to all of a sudden the alligator's a homicidal maniac that's gone on a killing spree. Like he attacked the wedding. He didn't eat anybody. He just like killed people. He like chopped people. He hit people with his tail.
Well, maybe he was
he
a
went on a
little
fucking killing spree.
Maybe-
So
So he goes back into the fucking sewers.
yes, and
Yeah.
then Robert Forrester has the idea to blow up the alligator with the timer that Crazy Man was wearing,
And
plus the dynamite he found
And the
next
dynamite that was just like lying there next to some
to
books.
right next to the timer. Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'll just grab this. It said earlier in the movie that there's a pocket of methane in the sewer system for some reason.
That's convenient.
And when he goes down with the first cop that gets eaten, he says, "Make sure you don't light up a smoke or something like that," or like he's going to. Yeah, so there's a pocket of methane, of course, that's going to come back in later. So he, for some reason, the alligator is back in the sewer.
Yeah.
And Robert Forrester is he's luring it to this area. He puts his mask on. He's going to blow up the alligator.
Yeah.
The alligator hits him with the tail, and he smacks really hard against the wall. That would have killed me.
Yeah.
And then he climbs up the ladder to the sewer. But of course, and he has a timer on the bottom.
And this is my favorite bit of the whole fucking movie.
Oh, that fucking
He's climbing up the ladder, and he's like, all he's got to do is get through that fucking, what do they call those round...
manhole.
Manhole. And
Woman hole.
And there's a fucking a double whammy of a garbage truck. There's a garbage truck about 10 feet away.
Yeah.
And
then
some old lady in like a Studebaker.
Because she can't go, because she's such a terrible driver, she can't go around the garbage truck.
Yeah.
Because she's a fucking idiot.
And so he can't open the manhole.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a big explosion.
The countdown's going on, and then
Robin runs up.
Robin runs up and then starts yelling, and the old lady's so incredulous and so mean.
Like, what, now I won't move.
What are we talking about?
There's someone trapped under the fucking manhole.
What are we talking about?
Although to be fair, if I was like at first in commercial, and some maniac with red hair ran up and was like, "Move your car in the manhole and alligator."
Does it have to be
You'd
red
be
hair?
like,
Well, I would have actually.
Well, it doesn't help things.
I would, I would, if it was me, I would have either backed my car up 1 foot or maybe move ahead 1 foot. That's all you had to do.
Yeah,
that's all you had to do.
But she wasn't really saying like, "Would you?" She's like,
No,
"Move your car, you crazy old bitch!"
Because she only had 12 seconds. To me, I just want to drag that old woman out of the car, kick her a few times,
just beat her in the fucking head,
and then move the car. Because she was so awful.
But even then, it was like,
a garbage truck in my way. I can't move.
Reverse, you idiot.
Or go around the garbage truck,
anything.
you fucking moron.
Yeah.
So in her idea, she's driving home. She's gonna. The garbage truck stops at every house. So she's gonna like drive her car and stop behind the garbage truck at every house, and take like a half an hour to drive.
Every Wednesday morning, I have this with the garbage truck. Maybe it's enough to just blow up an alligator with dynamite. You don't need to fucking
with the methane.
Like, how about you just fucking blow it up?
As soon as it goes like this, opens his mouth, throw the dynamite into his mouth that's lit, and then you're done.
How about some poisoned dog?
Yeah, or
poison some dead dog.
Or shove it to a hobo and throw the hobo into the sewers. That's what I would do.
And then I wrote, the last thing I wrote was, I don't think he needed that much explosive for one lousy alligator.
Well, it wasn't a one lousy alligator. It destroyed the entire city of Chicago.
It was like but it was like a half a city block taken out by this fucking...
Yeah, when it started
exploding. He's not going to answer to that.
There was a car that exploded and turned over, and I thought, I hope that old lady's in that car. The one that her only crime was not moving her car when a crazy person asked her to move her car.
When some maniac ran up and said and demanded.
But because her reaction was so extreme and awful, I just wanted her to die.
So,
the ref I like as well.
So it is Monday here at Black Dog Video, which is 241.
A
customer grabs alligator, walks to the counter. Darren, you are working. What do you pair up with alligator?
Well, I'm gonna say like you enjoy the Nature Gonna Ride, the big monster movies. I'm gonna give them. Which actually filmed it. Which is actually filmed in the same location in the those weird sewer like aqueduct things they have in Los Angeles. I don't think there's a scene where the giant ants attack an Italian wedding, but it's a great it's a great 1950s B movie with giant ants going Nature Gonna Ride.
It is great. I just not to go off on a tangent, but I did a show in Prince George not too long ago, and I got snowed into my hotel. And I couldn't leave all day.
That sucks. So to be snowed in Prince George, man, that's hell.
But the hotel was nice.
Oh, nice.
So it wasn't so bad. And all they had was like, cable television. And on AMC or something, they were showing them. And I was like,
awesome.
It's like, I've never actually watched this, but I'll give it a try for a laugh.
But it's so good.
I was surprised how good it actually was. Yeah. No, them... Great recommendation. How about you, Alex?
My pairing would be outside of the genre. Early in Alligator, right before the alligator gets flushed, you hear a news report on the radio referring to the 1968 Democratic Convention in Chicago. Therefore, I would refer them to Medium Cool. Also starring Robert Forster. And which is about the 1968 Democratic Convention.
It's a great pick because that's an amazing film.
And I'm sure that John Sayles had that in mind when he wrote that bit into the script.
Well, actually, he there's a lot of like little references to other films in Alligator. There's at the very end when they're back in the sewers, somebody has spray painted "Harry Lime Lives" on the walls, which is obviously a throwback to The Third Man.
Any Nature Gonna Ride film would pair excellently with Alligator, but I would pick Medium Cool.
Dylan, what do you say? What say you, Dylan?
I'm having a hard time deciding.
Really?
Do you have a coin?
I do. Here you go. Oh, you got one there? All right. You doing a coin flip?
Yeah.
Wow. I bet the audience is on edge
of
what you're going to pick. Like, what's heads and what's tails? You gotta tell us first.
Heads is Chud.
Oh, yeah. In the sewers?
Similarly, because there's so much time spent down in the sewers, which I always love.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is James Cameron's James Cameron's
John
first
Cameron
film,
is his brother.
Piranha 2: The Spawning. So,
which is not a very good film.
But it's better than it should be.
Right.
James Cameron himself referred to it once as the best flying piranha movie ever made.
You know what? I don't.
There you go.
You know what? That's. I'm not even gonna flip the coin.
You putting that back in the title?
Put it back in, and I'm going with Piranha 2: The Spawning is the because Piranha 2 is batshit crazy. Have you ever seen it?
I probably I can't remember. I love Piranha
I watched
so much.
it on PTV many years back.
It's not great, but when you look into the story of how James Cameron made it, the fact that he actually broke into the studio against the studio head's will,
right,
and recut the film, so that it was his vision for Piranha 2 that actually got sent into the theaters.
It's flying Piranha vision.
Yeah. Piranha 2: The Spawning is a blast. It's out. Go with Chud. We are located at Commercial Drive and Grant Street here in East Vancouver.
And also on Cambie Street.
That's true. What's the address on Cambie Street?
3451 Cambie Street, between 18th and 19th Street on Cambie Street.
Right across from the Park Theater.
That's the flagship store.
Alex, just want to say on behalf of me, Darren, and Dylan tonight, until the next edition of Black Dog After Dark, see you later, alligator.
Ooh, nice.
Hey,
wow.
you know,
I didn't see that one coming. Did you see that one coming?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh.
See you later, alligator. In a wild crocodile.
Gonna get some hair plugs.
The Black Dog After Dark podcast is recorded at Black Dog Video on Commercial Drive in Vancouver, Canada. It's presented by Alex Chisholm, Darren Gay, and Dylan Reimer. It is produced by Dylan Reimer and Darren Gay. Alex just kind of stands there and drinks beer. The intro and outro music was recorded by Tiger Burning Bright, composed by Jeff, who works at Jefferson's Barbershop, also on Commercial Drive. And he's a damn good hairstylist.